All right. Welcome to Vindec EU. This platform was born on the belief that healing isn't a luxury, it's a necessity, especially for those like entrepreneurs, creatives, community leaders who are constantly expected to push forward no matter what they carry inside. Vindec EU is more than a name. It's a declaration, Romanian for I heal. It's a space built to honor the emotional journey behind the hustle. Through live panels, real conversations, and community storytelling, we hold space for moments most people hide, which are burnout, anxiety, trauma, imposter syndrome. And we learn how to explore and how to build something meaningful without losing ourselves in the process. Our mission is simple, it's to normalize mental health struggles in entrepreneurship and leadership, to build a platform where resilience is celebrated, vulnerability is welcomed, and healing is a part of the hustle. So, whether you're a business owner, artist, or just somebody trying to keep it all together, Vindec EU is a reminder that you're not alone and you don't have to be. All right. So for those that don't know me, my name is Stefan Walters. I own Good Luck Stuff Productions and Madman Plant, Vindec EU, and Smoke Busters. I am a storyteller, a creative, a director, a mental health advocate. I'm also, I'm sorry, I produce and hosted mental panels all the way from California and up and down the East Coast. And I've focused on the intersection between healing and identity and community. I've been featured at national events, and I'm sorry, I'm messing up here. I've built multiple brands helping people navigate addiction, recovery, suicide ideation, burnout, and the emotional weight that often comes with being a leader and a creator. That's why this panel exists, because I believe that healing and hustle don't have to live on opposite ends of the spectrum. I'm not here to talk theory. I'm here to talk from experience and hold a space for yours too. All right. So I'm going to go into how the panel works and then we'll get started. So I just need to grab one sheet here. This is my I get to kindly interrupt you sheet. See, it says, you're doing great. Now let's pass the torch, So when you have to stop talking. All right. So here we go. This panel isn't about business. It's about humans. We're not talking about success in numbers. We're talking about survival in real life. What happens when you lose everything? When you have to start over? When you're exhausted, but you can't stop showing up because people depend on you? Tonight, we're slowing down the hustle. We're here to remember that healing isn't a destination. It's a practice. Whether you're the founder, a parent, creative, caregiver, your story matters. This space is for connection, not perfection, as you can see through my reading. Just kidding. So here are the ground rules. So speak from the heart. The answers are based on time limits. So each section has its own time limits. Some questions you'll have like 4 minutes to answer. Some will be one word responses. Some will be open conversations. We'll open it up to the group a little bit, but it'll have a nice flow. It's all about being honest and real. I always say, be as honest as your truth will allow you. So starting here, and I guess we'll just start on my side here. We have, say your first name for me again. Brianna, sorry. Dr. Brianna Horrocks. As a managing veterinarian, Dr. Horrocks faces emotional and ethical weights most people never see, from euthanization to compassion, fatigue to student debt. She's raising 3 kids while navigating one of the highest suicide risk professions in medicine. She has learned to protect her peace with boundaries, movement, and grace. She also performed surgery on Honey, so this conversation hits home on many levels. So thank you for being here. Next, we have Judy Robbins. 11 years ago, Judy's husband's bicycle accident nearly cost him his life and left their family in over $1 million in medical debt. They lost everything, their home, their savings, their stability. Yet Judy refused to quit. Through faith, discipline, and the relentless courage, she rebuilt not just her finances, but her foundation of gratitude and strength. And finally, we have, and not last but not least, Shaindel Marcus. Born and raised in Venezuela, Shaindel came to the United States in 2014 as a single mother escaping political violence. With her son depending on her, she built an entire life from scratch, new language, new culture, new identity. When mental health wasn't discussed, she turned to art. And through color and canvas, she began to heal. Her story is about recovering peace through creativity and courage. So thank you for being here. So these three women represent survival in motion, art, faith, and compassion, all finding their way through chaos. So let's dive in. We all know what survival looks like, different depending on what you've been through. What moment in your, oh, hold on, sorry, that was a question. I thought I had another prompt to read. So here's where we're going to go. We're going to set the timer here. This is a 3-minute response. So per person. So you'll have the exact same question, but everybody will answer it. And then we'll go into individualized questions. So give me 1 second here. And if you want to pick that up, you are more than welcome to. 3 minutes on the clock here. All right. All right, Dr. Horrocks. We all know what survival looks like, different depending on what you've been through. What moment in your life felt like rock bottom, and what was the first small thing that helped you start to climb back up?
Okay. So rock bottom for me was probably a few years ago when it was actually a personal situation. I found that outside of work, I was having emotional turmoil, bullying, and various things that were happening in my life from personal relationships. And it was starting to affect my work and handling my job on top of the emotional distress I was enduring. It was also occurring while I was pregnant with my third baby, and I was a high-risk pregnancy. So it was like all compounding on me. And I had her, and I hit rock bottom emotionally because when I would go to work, I would feel helpless. I'd be thinking dark thoughts like, what would happen if I wasn't here? Would it be easier? Or what would happen if I left? Would it be that I left an impact on people's lives positively, or would it not matter? And so I had to admit to myself that I needed help. So I started antidepressants and started working out, trying to be healthy, trying to live in a spectrum of my life where I tried to see what was good in my life day to day, start to appreciate what I had, let it build me, leaning on the good people, keeping my friends circle smaller. That was the biggest thing I learned. I think when you're a woman, you go from your 20s to your 30s, you see what relationships truly matter to you and who is there for you that supports you versus who you need to get rid of. And I learned so much becoming the managing veterinarian. That was in the process of me becoming the boss, basically. And I think I did more learning in the past few years about myself, the grit that it takes, the strength, and you have to hit rock bottom to see what you're really made of. And it brought me back so much better. So this year is actually the first year I felt like I've finally found that inner peace that we all look for. I'm off of antidepressants. I'm not relying on bad habits like drinking. I'm going to church more. I found belief in my own spirituality. And I think it carries you a little bit. You have to have some sort of foundation that you go back to, and it's different for everyone. And for me, it's leaning on my husband, who literally carried me through hell and back, my kids, and just finding that every day, like, I'm just happy my kids are alive. I get to go home to my kids. If I've been screamed at by a client, or, in the past, I had a lot of inner employee issues where I was trying to find a staff that had the same drive that I did, that they wanted to be there because they knew that we were helping animals. And at the end of the day, this year I can say I'm happy with the staff that I have. They're amazing. So they hear me. Okay.
Great response, by the way.
Thanks.
And thank you. See, isn't that just a nice, polite way to interrupt people? It's just like,
Then we know when we're.
That's great.
all right.
Okay.
Judy,
Same
it's
question.
the exact same question, so I'll read it again to you so it's fresh on your mind here.
Okay.
We all know survival looks different depending on what you've been through. What moment in your life felt like rock bottom? And what was the first small thing that helped you climb or helped you start to climb back up?
Yeah, I think I'm going to start with a whole lot of faith. Yeah, because he explained to you what happened 11 years ago. My husband had a close to death experience with his bicycle accident. And when that happened, it wasn't right away, but it was 2 years in, him not working, not earning income. I was trying to keep us afloat. We decimated savings. We cashed in our 401ks. We cashed in our Roth IRAs, emergency fund, everything. We had to do that to just try to pay back all the bills. And we owed over $1 million. And so in the middle of that 2 years, we lost our health insurance, which really sucked because we're independent. My husband and I have our own businesses. And when you have your own business, there's something called the Affordable Healthcare Act, which is not affordable at all. Anyway, so we lost that and we had to make tough decisions. And it was, okay, well, we can be homeless, but we're together and that's okay. And I really use that as an example for my kids. And I said, I'd rather live in a tent and be homeless, but us be together as a family unit than to be separated. And I'm in the big house on the hill and, well, good luck, everybody. So it was a lot of faith. It was a lot of, I have to lead by example. I don't have a choice here. Were there days I wanted to lose my shit? Yeah, of course. I mean, that's life. We're all going to have bad days. We're going to have bad years. But we just put our head down and got to work. But yeah, I lost my home, turned in our cars, pulled our kids out of private school. Wasn't fun. But again, it didn't kill us. It didn't kill him. And we were thankful for that. And it was just about the road to recovery. It took him a long time to heal. But I was there for him. And I just said, this is what marriage is, right? It's good, bad, and ugly. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it's really ugly. So for us, I just had to keep going. I knew. And I take that one quote, if you find yourself in hell, we'll keep going. Because why would you want to stay there? Right? You just got to keep moving through. And I just used a lot of my faith. Yes, I cuss and I have a lot of faith. So that's just who I am.
Faith doesn't have anything to do with that.
Right? Exactly. So it was just perseverance and knowing I got to get out of this. I got to get through this and as quickly out and earn money again and rebuild our life. There was no other alternative.
You have 20 seconds.
Wow. Okay. Let's just keep talking. Shall I keep cussing?
No. I cuss a lot at work.
Yeah.
Because I can't cuss at home.
Some people say that it's a sign of intelligence when you cuss a lot. Exactly. I say that I must be really smart.
Wonderful.
Thank you so much.
All right. Shaindel. We all know survival looks different depending on what you've been through. What moment in your life felt like rock bottom? And what was the first small thing that helped you start your climb back up?
So he said something about my life that it did not feel like rock bottom because it wasn't, but it was a decision that it was a black or white. I had no options. I am a Venezuelan citizen. And if you have seen the news in the last 25 years, my country is not in the right place to be. And I had to leave in a very impromptu situation really quick. And when you have put your effort in being a good professional, a good mother, a good citizen, blah, 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 I have 2 career professional degrees back in my country. I was a professor in a university. I had my own business. I had. And in a period of probably 30 days, I had to sell everything, pack 2 bags, and go. And that was a crucial moment because you end up with nothing but what you've learned, what you have in your head, and God. That's all. And the moment that gave me the light to keep moving was when I got in the first plane. It took me 5 planes to come from Venezuela here. Not because that's the way it is. It's just 4 hours away. It's just that because of the problem in Venezuela, there was no way for a direct flight, right? So I had to take 5 planes to be able to make it here. And that was the only time I had to be vulnerable. That was the only time I had to cry. Because once I put my feet down here, the fight will start. The fight for legality, the fight for healthcare, a job, the proper ways, the ways to do things right, so I could stay, bring my son, and do it right, so I had no fear, because I was done to be living in fear. And people can say whatever, but this is the best country in the world. And here you can find peace and to be safe if you need it. And I found it here. So rock bottom, no. Hard, yes. And my North Star, my son. Do I have time?
Oh no, you're right on time.
Good.
So it's perfect,
Perfect.
actually.
Okay.
Thank you guys for sharing that. All right, so next segment here, we are going to go into individual questions. So since Shaindel has the mic, we'll start with her and then come back, just so
Okay.
we don't have to keep going back and forth with the microphones. Now, these segments are a little bit longer. So with this, give me 1 second. Sorry. You're going to have about 4 minutes to about 5 minutes to speak. And then we're going to open it up to about 2 minutes of open conversation. So this is for the panelists to ask questions to each other's stories. So you have 2 minutes. And this is why I kind of like the smaller segment, because it gives more time for everybody to talk. Sometimes when you have a lot of people, you get to only answer questions. So Shaindel, you talk about art being the place you found your voice after silence. Can you share what it was like trying to heal in a culture where mental health wasn't talked about, and what creating did for your soul during that time?
Okay, so since I have 5 minutes, I'm going to make it fun. So there is a comedian, a Venezuelan comedian. He says it just because it's funny, but it's not funny. It's sad, but it's true, but it's funny. He said, we Venezuelans, we don't have mental health care. We cannot go to a therapist. That's too expensive. Which comes back to what help can you get when you are coming with nothing to a place where you don't have access to any of that, but you are going through a breakdown, right? You have problems, you're in fear, all this stuff. Thankfully, my parents knew me better. And when I started my career after school, I wanted to be a doctor. I wanted to be a doctor in medicine, right? My mother is a doctor. My dad is a veterinarian. I wanted to follow the path. I couldn't because my brain is not that. My brain is the other side of the brain that works. But I was always able to paint, to draw, to knit, to do things with my hands, to craft. My two grandmas had a lot to do with that. So I learned a lot of skills through them. And my mom, when I went to the medical thing to take my test to go in 3 times, didn't pass the test. My mom told me the last time, she said, why don't we just go to the graphic design school just to take a look? And I went, no, I don't want to go. So she took me in. I loved it. And I graduated first of my class 3 years later. And after that, I decided that I wanted to be a journalist. So I went to the journalism school, graduated 2010 as a journalist. My mom knew better. I didn't know that. So what happened in that time is that I learned outlets. I learned to interview people. I learned to learn about other people. I learned how to put my thoughts into an expression of art. So when I was here and I start feeling the pressure of the depression, of my feelings coming all together, I had a 9-year-old that needed to go to school, that couldn't find his mother crying every day. So with the resources I had, I went and got a couple of canvases, a couple of brushes, start pouring out nighttime, whenever I had a chance, whatever I was feeling. They're all displayed here. And you can see through the years how the emotion on the paint start changing because I was under control. And what kept me under control was that I found a way to keep myself on check. Like, you are not going to drink, you're going to paint. You're not going to go hang out with people you shouldn't be. You're going to stay home, you're going to paint. And then I start selling it. Oh my God, that's bringing income home. And then I start crafting jewelry. And oh my God, that is bringing income home. So that kept me as a second income. I found an amazing job in an amazing company. That is, I'm still have ties with them because they've been a blessing in my life. But art has always been part of what I am and what I want to be. I hope God bless me with the opportunity to live out of my artwork when I decide to retire. So when I have real time, I can just pour my heart and soul into canvases and become somebody worth buying a piece of art. That's what I want. Am I gonna get there? I don't know. It takes a lot of time. I hope I get the time. If not, it keeps me sane, prevents me from having weird thinking, having if I am in a bad mood, if I'm in a good mood, that is what's bringing me back to reason, to calm, to peace, so I can function. I mean, I am not who I am without it. I can't see myself not having it. People tell me, the people that knows me better, they know when I'm not painting. When was the last time, my mother asked me, when was the last time that you did something? So.
Look at that, perfect, on time.
I got you. I got you.
You guys have like good internal timers here. Very awesome. So now it's 2 minutes open to the panelists.
Oh, for questions. Okay.
Or just conversation. If there's nothing to say, then we'll just move on. But if you guys want to interact or say anything, now would be the time. So
we're asking her questions.
If there's anything that she said that you wanted to comment on. If not, we move on. I just leave it open.
Whatever you want to do. You have a question?
You are still painting right now.
Yes, a little bit. As much as I can.
Not a lot of time, right? Did your little boy come with you when you first came?
So he came with me the next day because he can't come in the same plane with me. It was very difficult to find plane tickets, and find two, it was even worse. So I found one for me one day, and I found another one for him and my mother on the next day. So we flew
So he
together.
was traveling with your mom. That's
Yeah, he traveled with my mom. And then, we went through the legalities that you have to go, and thankfully, everything is fine, and we're here, and my son is being here longer than he was in the country he was born. He is an American kid, no matter what. I mean, and he's so proud to be what he's becoming, right? He loves being here. He loves the things that he is allowed to be because he's here.
Do you speak Spanish with your son?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
He speaks Spanish fluently. He writes it fluently. And that's, my sister just had a baby a couple of months ago, a year ago, and we only speak Spanish with him. He will learn Spanish before he learns English. So that way he can have both. Mhm. Yep. That's a skill that you need. It's important. Yeah. All right.
Fantastic. All right. Judy,
Yes.
when you were rebuilding after losing everything, how did you hold on to hope in the middle of survival? And how did faith evolve as you started finding stability again?
I think I've always had faith. It wasn't that I found faith after the accident. I've always had faith. And I have I would say I have a very strong faith. When you're going through something that's very traumatic, and it was traumatic at the time, you ask God questions like, why us? What did we do that was so bad that we're going through this? But then you just learn it's not about anything I've done or anything he did. It was a trial, if you will. And I knew it was a trial. And I can look back now and say, I experienced what we experienced, or we experienced what we did, because I think God knew we weren't going to quit or not make it through, that we would persevere, we would have strength, we would have courage, we would get through it. And then it would be an experience that we could help others so they wouldn't have to go through what we went through. That's what led me to my career. Once I found out, if I had had something in place, I wouldn't have lost everything. And I also went through phases of, it's just a house, it's just a car. Okay, all of the cars, all the things, but these are important things. We all deserve a home. We all deserve a car, a nice car, even a really nice car. We deserve things. And so I got through it and said, okay, this was my bad season, my valley, right? And I think if you are faithful, it's written many times in the Bible that you're not always going to be at a summit. There will be many valleys that you will walk through. And it's just, how do you manage the valley? How do you persevere and walk through the valleys to get to the next summit? So, yeah, I really leaned in on my faith. I had to. I didn't have a choice. And then I also, you were talking about your story. My mother was an immigrant. My mother's North Korean. She went through so much. And so I would always say, this is nothing. I didn't have to immigrate into the United States. I didn't lose my best friend on a landmine walking to school. Like I didn't have any of that. So I always said, mine aren't that big of a problem. I'm just going to get through. It's, first world problems, as we call them, right? Because they are. And I didn't diminish it, but I just put things into perspective. I
1
think,
minute and 44 seconds.
Yeah, see, I answer it quickly. If you have any questions?
So how are your children understand that process? How did they have cope with it? The process that you went through, the valley and then to the summit, because
Yeah, they
Mhm.
they didn't love it, but when when I said, well, we're leaving Catholic school, my kids were like, yay,
Yeah,
sounds great. They didn't really love Catholic school. So I was like, okay, well, we're going to go to public school and we're going to see how you like that. And they were like, awesome. I don't have to wear a uniform. They thought this was the best part about going to public school. And I was like, well, I just hope that you'll really do well and you'll push yourselves academically and it will be challenging enough and all the things. But they saw, they witnessed it. They had a front row seat of all the things not to do, right? So fun to lose your house and move and, oh, hi, we get to move in with family. This will be great. And they were like, do we have to? But again, when we keep close and we say what's truly important, family is the most important thing for us. Yeah. And you make sacrifices. We all do. And our sacrifices were big, but we knew we were going to get out of it and it would just take time. And then everything would be fine. No, it's taken a whole lot longer than I ever thought it would take. But again, we just put family first, faith first. I should say faith first and then family. And just put your head down and work. Work hard.
I mean, I think it's brave to go through what you went through, but be so positive in the end. But I think that what I've experienced personally and with my job daily is I have a similar perspective, is that you have to not let it get you down and let it make you appreciate everything you have.
Yeah. Gratitude.
Yeah.
Practicing gratitude has really, and I know that we talk a lot about this every day, but it's so true. The more you show gratitude and thank God or whoever you believe in for your life and your blessings, the more you make room for more blessings, right?
Yeah, it's like the more you practice, it's like you have to practice to be happy.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you have to
and I just kept saying it could be so much worse.
Yeah.
And I know that sounds really awful, but I would say your dad could have died.
Yeah.
He didn't die. So we're left here to do stuff. Every day we wake up, that's another chance to go help someone and be good and be kind and love and help serve others. So I just look at it as another opportunity to help wherever I can. Yeah.
That's fantastic. You did a great job, by the way.
Thank you.
All right.
Doctor, you get the mic.
You want me to call you Dr. Horace or Brianna?
Just call me Brown.
Okay. Well, every time, see, honey, even honey knows. She was nervous.
Started whining. She knew.
Right? Hers going to come up. Hers can come up.
Oh, my sweet.
Hi.
Go get love. All right. Brianna, you lived in a constant proximity to loss and pressure. What made you finally draw a line and say, my peace matters too? Honey, shh. Please, all the way down. All the way. My peace matters too. How did you rebuild boundaries in such a demanding field?
Boy. People that know me know that it's hard for me to do that. You don't become a veterinarian without being like an super go-getter. You don't climb, in our field without that drive. And the people that know me know that I have like an extreme form of that. maybe a little on the workaholic side, where my career is everything to me. It's not just a career, it's an identity. It's actually just a way of living. And I live to be a veterinarian. A veterinarian is like the definition of me. But what I was finding when I was going through all this emotional turmoil and just things going on outside my life, I couldn't handle the things that were going on in my practice. Like on a day-to-day basis, you have to go euthanize a pet, and within 15 minutes, and you're losing maybe a pet that you've known for years, or a client or a friend. Just last week, euthanized one of my really good friend's dogs. And right after it, I had to go to a puppy visit. So we as veterinarians have to learn to compartmentalize, and I wasn't good at that. I was finding that by the end of the day, the emotions I was suppressing was actually really tearing me down. And then things I was dealing with outside of work and having to learn to be a good leader was just everything. I felt like everything was drowning me. I felt like I was drowning, but I was just a shell of a person just going through life and just going through the motions. And then I started going, no, through caring about my staff and seeing the burnout on my staff. Like we work an obscene amount of hours, and when we're working, we're fast paced, and the emotional turmoil going from a euthanasia to a puppy visit and like everything that takes a toll on. And we're also dealing with sometimes very difficult people. I would honestly say what created more of my depression than anything was dealing with clients that were really, really mean. They weren't understanding sometimes, having the pressure to make something really cheap. Otherwise you'd be accused of being a crook. When we're half the time, my staff gets on me about this all the time. Half the time I do services for free a lot, and then having the pressure of like, am I allowed to do all this? Am I allowed to help this person? You're just dealing with so much all at once. And then I finally had to make the decision that for me, I had 3 kids that I was missing their life. I was coming home and I was so burnt out. I wasn't able to be a mom. I was just trying to find a way to cope with what brought my day. It could have been someone cussing me out, or I had 6 euthanasias. I think my record one day was 8. I had to finally go, you know what? Through trying to help my staff also cope with the emotions, I stopped being open on the weekends. That was a really big step for me. It was really hard for me. We were shorthanded and it was burning me out. It was burning my staff out, and I wanted to keep them happy. I wanted to keep myself happy. So I stopped being open on the weekends, and it was a really big deal. And it was the beginning of me finally spending quality time with my kids, they're 5, 8, and 2. And so that was a big step. I cut our hours. I made us close an hour earlier so that I could go home and put my kids to bed. And my poor husband wasn't stuck doing all of it. And so by putting myself first, I felt like I was a better leader, a better vet. I was finding that I was happy talking to my clients. I was trying to appreciate my job again because I fell short of it. I started resenting my job. I started not liking my job. And then I was like, no, you like this. So I started getting to know my clients again, talking to them about other things, not just their pet, really enjoying conversation throughout the day and cultivating the good clients, learning how to change my communication styles to handle the difficult clients and not let it affect me. Like their impression of me or their opinion of me didn't matter. I had to stop caring what people thought. I had to get a thick skin. I started to put myself first, change, become better by doing all of these little things in my day-to-day life. And my staff sees it. My husband sees it. Everyone sees it. This past year has been like a huge defining moment for me. And I grew as a leader too, because we had a lot of change this year with our clinic, a lot. And it was going to be me that they looked to make sure that, okay, we have a lot of really intense change. How is she going to handle this? And it was very similar to your situation. We're like learning to start doing that every day, work hard.
You're doing awesome. All right. So now we'll open it up to 2 minutes of discussion between you guys.
So I had to put sleep or euthanize one of my cats.
Mhm.
Like
What?
probably about a year ago.
Mhm.
He was the one cat that I was able to bring from Venezuela.
Wow.
So it was a sad decision. He was very sick. He had a heart condition, and one day we saw him. He was like having issues to breathe.
Mhm.
Right. I've never. I mean, I have family dying. I have first people near me dying. I've been there. I had
Yeah.
to. I was there when my grandpa passed in front of me. Right. I have violent deaths in the family because of the things in Venezuela. But I've never felt so useless that when I had to put my guts.
You're not the first person to tell me that. And I find that people are very emotional with their pets.
Oh, yeah.
But do you know what I think it is? I think it's because we know they're better than people.
Oh yeah, totally.
And they've never
it's
yelled
just-
at us.
It's just the honest truth because they love us selflessly.
Yep.
People cannot. And so when you lose a pet, it's really long lasting.
Yeah.
And we have to experience that grief with you guys.
Mhm.
And yeah.
So my question was that how you, because it's not your animal, right? But it's somebody else's, and you're there,
Mhm.
and you're human too, and probably it's your patient, and you've seen it through. So how you cope with that?
At times I don't. That's part of the problem, I think. But I try to remind myself that we're doing it for good. But a lot of my grief is in grieving for my owners, not the pet.
Yeah.
I'm doing the pet the service to give them this peaceful passing that sometimes people don't get. And so I feel relief for the pet, but the grief that we feel and that I see my staff feel every day is for those owners. There's times where I will come out of a room and I'll sob. I have staff members that do the same thing. When some of them get to you at seeing the physical grief on people's faces and what they're going through, that's harder for us, not the pet, because we know that we're doing the right thing for the pet. And we make sure that when we are euthanizing, we're euthanizing because we need to, and it's going to be the best thing for the pet. So that's, yeah, it's hard to have to do it and then be normal all the time so quickly. It's like the speed of it.
We're out of time.
Okay.
You guys are doing awesome. All right. So now we're in what's called the lightning round. And this is fast one-word sentences. So it's like if you were going to text me back the answer. So
Yes, no, okay, cool.
So there's 1, 2, 3, 4 questions, and each of you will answer the same one. So we'll just go down the line.
Okay.
All right. So Brianna, what's one boundary or ritual that keeps you sane?
Working out.
All right. Judy, what's one boundary or ritual that keeps you sane?
Okay, bad habits count, right?
Yes.
I drink too much wine.
I like wine. I've learned to
I
like
drink
wine.
too much wine, but it's my coping mechanism.
Shaindel, what's one boundary or ritual that keeps you sane?
I take a shower.
There you go. That's awesome. All right, Shaindel, since you have the mic,
Uh-huh.
when fear shows up, what's the first thing you remind yourself?
I pray.
Perfect. Judy, when fear shows up, what's the first thing you remind yourself?
Gratitude.
Perfect. Brianna, when fear shows up, what's the first thing you remind yourself?
My cat's still alive. I'll
There's
explain that later.
All 20 cats?
No, there's just this one cat. And that's what keeps me going is my cat.
That's awesome. Okay. Brianna, what's one daily practice that protects your peace?
Trying not to text owners back when they bug me.
Ooh, that's a good one. Judy, what's one daily practice that protects your peace?
My morning journaling, and it's gratitude.
Perfect. I think you need to get the word tattoo or gratitude tatted. You know what I mean?
I mean, practice.
Shaindel, what's one daily practice that protects your peace?
I drive around when I need time for myself.
That's awesome.
So I don't go home with my
Stuff.
Oh, wait, keep holding the mic.
hold the mic.
Sometimes you're ever been on like 95 Route 1 and your ex is coming up and you just wish you had like a 3-hour drive that night because it just
I
feels
make it
so good to
happen.
be
I
driving
make it
and out.
happen. I just make up grocery store. Do you know that's another thing? I make up grocery store. I make up Dollar Tree. I make.
It's like, oh,
whatever.
we're out of milk. Did we just get milk?
Retail.
Yeah, we're out of it.
I don't have to buy anything. I just
Walking.
so I can put myself together before going home.
All right. What's one word that describes how you define healing today?
I'm blessed.
Perfect. I bet I know Judy's answer. One
gotta
word
come
that
up with
describes
another
how you
word.
define healing today.
I think pray. I'll say pray.
I was going to say gratitude.
No. Right.
All right. Brianna, what's one word that describes how you define healing today?
Bravery.
Wonderful. All right. So this is where I'm going to open up to the audience for 15 minutes. And the audience gets to ask questions. You can ask any panelist you want. So let me go ahead and get this started. And I will pass over the mic if you guys want to ask a question this way.
I don't really have a question, but as far as for the doctor here, I relate quite a bit. My career path is very violent in nature, combat, this, that, and the other. And so you will see your fellow soldiers instantly killed, this, that, and the other. Then you have to police them up, and then you deal with all your surrounding platoon members and their loss, and then also the family, back home, their loss. So I would say that what I have learned, and I had very little therapy, but when I would say, and this is always just one methodology you could try, is you got all those compartments, right? Everything that you've seen, felt, experienced. Pretend it's a box, and you decide when you want to open that box.
That's great. Yeah.
It's like, I'm going to deal. I'm open. I will say this. Iraq, we rebuilt a school with the Corps of Engineers, rebuilt a school, playground. Money was donated. Iraqi children out playing. They were mortared by Taliban, and then we had children bodies scattered all over the place. Then we had to go police them up. So that situation, that, you bonded with the kids, you gave them toys, that compartment, it's there. So loss of this pet, or whatever the case may be. And you choose, I'm strong enough, I'll deal with you. Let's look at it. Underneath it. And I always go with the attitude is no matter what's in that box, I'm meaner, I'm badder, I'm stronger. It's not going to overwhelm me.
Yeah.
And so that's the mentality. So it's maybe helps you, a soldier's mentality.
Yeah.
I'm tougher than this.
Yeah.
I got God on my back. He's going to take care of me. I'm going to deal with it.
Yeah.
So that's just
Yeah.
something
That's amazing.
I can relate to you on that
Yeah.
aspect. So,
Yeah.
anybody else?
I'd just like to say to all of you, it was just wonderful to hear your stories.
Oh, it's not over yet.
Oh,
Jeez,
Okay.
Phil, you trying to get out of here?
well, so far what I've heard today, I don't know about a time limit, but I'm just saying I'm very intrigued how you've taken a very stressful situation, a job that really the suicide rate is phenomenal. You and Dennis, I think, and it's really, and to be able to pull yourself out of that, notice what you needed to do and take care of it. Judy, we've known each other a long time. I really didn't know your story. How is your husband now?
He's fully recovered.
Wonderful. And Shaindel, your story is incredible. I think I'd love to hear more about it, and I can't wait to see some of your art.
Yeah.
Hanging all over.
I know.
I will-
I walked in and I thought that was the most beautiful thing because I love horses. It's so amazing. Just so amazing.
All right, so I have 3 independent questions. We'll start with Brianna first.
Okay.
So as being a veterinarian, I'm sure you deal with a lot of different people of why they want to put an animal down. Have you ever dealt with a situation where the owner decided to put the animal down, but you genuinely thought in your heart that that wasn't the right answer, but because of their wishes, you had to do it anyways? Or do you not run in that situation?
Thankfully, I really haven't had to do that. I've learned to communicate with them in a way that if I truly felt like I wasn't comfortable euthanizing their pet, then I found a way. There's so many great adoption agencies now and stuff. But weirdly enough, we don't really have that right now at Fairy Farm. We pretty well have like clients that are really good understanding if they're putting their pet down, it's for a good reason. I don't really come across that. I used to come across that more, not really now, thankfully. And I haven't really, that was actually a mission of mine though. I truly never wanted to put an animal down where I felt like I was doing the wrong thing. If I felt like I was doing the wrong thing enough, I'd find a way to gracefully rectify that in a way. And it's been a good feeling to know that, because I think that that's a part of the other whole, like keeping your mental health up. That's a really big part and important to me, to be able to feel the justification of it. So I work really hard at that.
That's awesome. At least you didn't have to be put in this situation, because I could imagine, because you never know how the owners are and their level of grief, and maybe they just want to get it over with. And, I'm sure it can be a tough situation because the animal doesn't have the voice. It's just the people, talking about it. All right, Judy.
Yes.
Growing through me and Lacey's relationship, we have definitely have suffered our times of the ups and downs of business. When you start to lose everything as a family, and you start to accept that partially, how do you deal with society and your colleagues and other people who may not understand what you were going through? And it's like, oh, Judy, why don't you come to the country club anymore? It's like, well, because I'm living out of my car right now. And it's like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So how do you keep up with those type of people?
Luckily, we don't have that shitty of friends.
Well, I'm glad.
Thank goodness. Everyone knew when we were going through 2 years, 13 reconstructive surgeries on John, that's why it led to the next thing and the next thing, and why we short sold our house, and why we turned in our cars, and why we moved away, and why we had to move in with family. So they didn't ask, like, why aren't you keeping up with us? Thank goodness.
Because, some people are just like very like questiony, and it's sometimes I
I'm
could
sure
imagine it would be very
wondered.
difficult to admit, and right
But
when
I
it was
have a
happening.
big mouth, Steph. I announced.
So she was like, "We're selling
everything.
it all. Come on over.
Yeah, it was.
I'll sell it to
it
you."
was a come and get whatever you want, because when my house was 5,000 square feet. I had 8 bedrooms. I had 5 bathrooms. Like, I got rid. It was a fire sale at the end. So yeah, everybody knew, and I wasn't shy about it. I didn't hide it. Oh, I guess I can't say that. I hid it a little bit because it was embarrassing.
Yeah.
We had it all.
Still courageous to do it.
But we had it all, and then we didn't.
Did you ever feel judged by anyone at a
Oh.
period of time?
Yeah, sure. But again, it was like, well, you can't judge anybody unless you've walked in their shoes, right?
Mhm.
So I really didn't care about those
I
that,
had to learn to not care.
yeah. But courage is a big word.
Yeah.
It takes courage to start over and do anything, to launch a business, to be an entrepreneur, you take risk. You have to. And it takes a lot of courage. But if you have faith, you're like, okay, let's go. can't go much further down. So let's try something else.
Well, that's what I told Lacey. I was like, if we fail in this business, I'm just gonna start another company. I was like, I don't know what to
Exactly.
do.
We can
Like, you know,
reinvent
it's like,
ourselves as many times as we have to. And if it's all for the right reasons and the right intention, and you really want to serve others, I think that God will guide your steps, and He will say, okay, I'm going to bring you to a new opportunity every chance that He can, if you're doing for the right reasons.
They always say that there's a lot of doors of opportunity. It's never marked. You just got to have the courage to open the door.
And when one door slammed in your face, just walk down the
Yeah,
hall.
that's
There's lots
true.
more doors.
Yeah, ever been to the Pentagon? They have lots of offices. I'm just
Yeah.
kidding.
Yeah.
He's been there quite a
No, I
bit.
spent the last 5 years there. So, no.
I've never been in the Pentagon. I just know they have a lot of offices.
Oh, yeah. A lot of doors.
So there's a lot of chaos there. So I mean, it's now that I'm out and I'm working with Judy and I'm starting my own as an agent. This is a different thing where I've always been serving. I served the defense, national defense, served the intelligence community, served this, served that. So now I'm actually serving people to be serving people, and so. I always try to take any bad situation. We have a military saying for it. It's just about a mindset, and we call it embracing the suck. You take the worst thing there is, grasp it, worst fear, nightmare, problem, whatever the case may be, embrace it with the mentality is I am to that problem, I am better than you. And I always found that a soldier's mentality, which was taught, got me through a lot of difficult things. So, and then faith came in later, but same.
I do agree with you because even when it gets tough, I'm always telling Lacey, we just got to stay mission oriented. Nothing matters except for the
Yes.
mission,
Get
and
the
that's
mission done.
to get the hell out of here, to get in and get out. Shaindel, question for you, and then we'll continue on. From losing everything, from all the credibility to your job to having to leave a country, how do you compartmentalize that as a person when the reality you live in is no longer safe, and you actually are leaving because of survival, not because I just want to try a new country? How did you compartmentalize that and kind of work through that? Because I'm sure it's like jumping from two different parallel universes. It's like first I'm here and now I'm just here.
Okay, so November 11th, 2013. We were in my family, we were preparing for Christmas. And when we were doing the math for how much money we were going to spend to buy the Christmas toys for the kids, and then I compared how much money will take me to come here to the United States on a vacation for 15 days, get the toys, buy clothes for the entire family, and come back home, I was spending more money just buying the toys back in my country. So I came here. This was 2013. We fled in 2014. In 2013, I came here. We shopped clothes for my entire family, my mom and I. We bought toys for every kid, and we came back home. So that's one thing. Then I came back to my country, to Venezuela, and everything started falling apart. It was already falling apart, but the real violence and things getting ugly and very insecure happened in that 6 months period. And when we had to leave, it was a no-brainer. I knew what I had to do. I had no choice to do it. And my choice was not doing it. I literally had to go. So how do I recover from it, or how do I came out of it? Well, I don't have choices. The only choice was surviving. That was it.
Yeah.
And this is the thing. In that trip, somebody took me to a big store that we have here where we can buy a lot of things. It's huge, right in Route 3. So took me to that store. This is back in Florida. And I got to see a piece of meat. I haven't fed my son meat in over a year. We were living out of sardines. When I saw that big chunk of meat that we were buying it for dinner, I couldn't eat. I started just crying at the store. I couldn't eat. I didn't eat. I haven't fed my son meat in over a year. So, you know what? I may not have money in my bank account at that time, but if I go to the store, I could find anything I needed.
Wow.
Whatever. Food was secure. Hospitals were secure. I mean, a school was secure. I wouldn't have to be scared of sending my son to school because I would not know if a bomb would blow in his school during the day. I wasn't that. So there was no option. I was not scared. I just had to work. Done. That was it. That wasn't that hard. I just had to work. So
I'm hearing there wasn't another option.
No.
There's no plan B.
Yeah, it's like
No.
do or
You
die.
just have
yeah,
you
so
have to
it
survive.
so you know what? Yeah, I had to do many things that I never did. I was a journalist, right? I was a graphic designer. I had a radio show. I had my own company. Who cares if I have to clean bathrooms for a year?
It was
It
like
doesn't
you were on
matter.
a mission though.
So it doesn't matter. If you can breathe, if you can pray, you can survive. That's it. That's all it takes.
I've noticed, I lived 14 years in Europe, been, of course, deployed in many places. And talk about people where they say, you don't know how good you got it here in the U.S.
Mhm.
Well, if you have not stepped outside of the U.S. or stepped into North Africa or the Middle East or Asia or wherever, you don't have a good balance of why she would do what she did. But trust me, you get a glimpse of that in Mexico, but it's all over. And people will skin another person just to get that plane ticket to get out of there. And so there's a great drive, and always really impressed me when the people actually execute the plan. So I'm getting on, I'm going, I'm taking the family, we're out of here. Because they're leaving, no matter how bad it is, they're leaving comfort. They know
You're
that
leaving
language.
everything.
They're
Yeah,
leaving their
you leave
family, their
everything
extended
behind.
family, they're leaving everything. But they're going to be refugees, they're going to go someplace where they potentially can stay alive, stay safe.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. You leave everything, but you have to do it right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because in order to earn back, so when you move to another place, when you leave, no matter the conditions, this is my belief. I didn't come to the United States to stay in my own ways. If I decided this is the country I wanted to live, I had to become what this country required from me. And that's what I did, or that's what I'm doing, because it's an everyday thing. Every day I learn a new word. Every day I ask people, did I say this right?
Hang around us and we'll teach you a whole
Right.
lot.
So why? Because I put my son to school, but I was already older to go back to school. So I couldn't go back to school. I've learned my English by speaking English. I've never been in school to speak English more than where's the bathroom back in your school. Like, you know how to order for a beer, probably, right? And where's the bathroom? That's it. That's it. So when you do that kind of things, you have to understand that you need to get out of your head and do what you need to do to earn your place.
Yeah.
You're not taking a place. You have to earn the place in the place you live. So if I decided to live here, I need to learn the language. I need to learn the ways. I need to be respectful of the ways, right? Because this country has given me everything I didn't have. I'm sorry.
Oh, you're fine. Keep going. You don't have to like stop immediately. You know, like take 15, 20 seconds. Yeah.
I'll talk forever.
It's like all right. Well, actually, you'll hold the mic.
You love
So
it.
this is called final reflection. So this is
Okay.
a 2-minute response.
Mhm.
We'll start with Shaindel first. If you could leave one message for someone who's in survival mode right now, someone trying to rebuild from loss, burnout, or trauma, what would you tell them?
Use your skills. When you are in surviving mode, you're doing only that, surviving, and you forget to live. And I've done it, and I've been there. And sometimes I find myself back in it because it becomes your shield. When you are in surviving mode, you're strong. And when you let go, you find yourself vulnerable. And I don't like feeling that way. Now, find your skills. You have skills, no matter which ones. I was in a conference telling this, and if you know how to make a good cake, that's a skill. If you know how to tie up a closet and make it nicer, that's a skill. If you know how to use a sewing machine, that's a skill. Use your skills to put you through whatever the situation you have is. Because at the end, again, as you're breathing and you're praying, you will be alive and you can do it. You always can do it. We always can do it. We're not put in this earth to be suffering. We're put here to make it through, and to make it through well. And I don't know the name of your God, whatever it is. There is nothing that you're going through that you are not going to be able to go through it. You're going to be on the other side of that. So use your skills, grab them strong, and get to the other side, because you will. It may take you time. It may take you more than one skill, but you will get to the other side. And if in between you have to let go, let it go. Let go everything. You'll be fine.
Wonderful. All right, Judy, you guys are doing so great tonight. If you could leave one message for someone who's in survival mode right now, someone trying to rebuild from loss, burnout, or trauma, what would you tell them?
Do you know the only animal that runs into a storm? Have you heard this fable? It's the buffalo. The buffalo is the only animal that will run into a massive storm, because they know physics. If you run into the storm and it's coming at you, you're going to get through it faster. It takes strength. It takes courage. It takes all of your skill set, all of your belief and faith, but everything is going to pass.
Mm-hmm.
This too shall pass. Everything is going to pass. That storm will pass. But don't we want to get through it as fast as possible so we can get to the next summit? So be a buffalo and just run through that storm and exit.
That's awesome.
I love it.
All right, Brianna, if you could leave one message for someone who's in survival mode right now, someone trying to rebuild from loss, burnout, or trauma, what would you tell them?
I'm actually, with my line of work, have a different perspective. I think for people, like if I were talking to a veterinarian that was feeling rock bottom, I'd say be vulnerable. That's what I had to do. Be honest with yourself. Be brave to admit that you need help before it's too late. So I guess like be brave about yourself. Be brave to make a change. I had to change a lot about myself, my friend group, my job. I had a lot of change in my job and it was for the better. But I think that's what I would tell them. Be honest. Not do this. Don't be afraid to actually speak your mind, have an opinion. Don't be afraid to say that this is what I've experienced. I guess that's how you can help another person. I think it's helped me. Helping other people has helped me. Finally admitting that I can actually do some good by being vulnerable myself. So I think that is what I would say.
Anything else? Anything? Nope. All right. What you heard tonight wasn't just a highlight reel. It was real life. Healing the hustle means showing up when you don't have it all together. To Shaindel, Judy, and Brianna, thank you for sharing your hearts. To everyone listening, thank you for being here. Remember that you are not alone. Your pain is not weakness, and it's proof that you are still here, still fighting, still worth every piece. Thank you guys for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. You are three remarkable ladies. Very remarkable. So, congratulations.
Awesome.
And that's it.
And that's it.
Thank
you.
Nice.
And that's a wrap.
Yes, please.
All right, and for those watching, thank you so much for keeping up with us.
Oh, scratch that butt. Oh, scratch that butt.